Hola, from Cascada Cafe Retiro in Popayan, Colombia. With the present great world confusion, I wish to do my part to accelerate the evolution of human consciousness. Please help by subscribing and sharing these videos. Thank you. Almost everyone wants to believe that things will settle down soon enough and life will return to normal. Therefore, I, little insignificant me, do not need to do anything because they, the power elite, will eventually fix everything. The average person does not want to change. The comfort of the known, even if this known is horrible, it is still the known. The unknown is terrifying. The unknown could be amazing, but because it is unknown, my ego simply does not want to deal with it. My ego-mendacious mind is always lying to me, telling me stories to make me feel better and ultimately do nothing. My soul, on the other hand, is encouraging me to go into action and adapt. But the ego, I, does not want to move away from the known. Let's look at some facts. The following information came from Jack Chappell. This was the average GDP growth of the global economy in 2019, 3.1%. This is the GDP growth we saw during the financial crisis of 2008. This is the GDP drop that we saw during the worst parts of the Great Depression. And this is what the economic darling Singapore had just gone through in the last 3 months alone. A 41.2% drop in GDP. It was the largest plunge of a major economy since the UK had a 19.1 GDP plunge that was reported just a few weeks ago. These 19 to 40% plunges that we are seeing are being completely written off by investors. Since March 23rd, the stock market has risen more than 44%. Why is this all happening? And what will we see going forward? We will see an economic waterfall. The economy is like a bunch of different ships that are floating along different parts of a river. Not all aspects of the economy will reach the end of the river and go over the waterfall at the same time. Certain parts of the economy reach the end of the river and fall over the waterfall at different times. In March, we began to see a slowdown in manufacturing and the increase in unemployment. In April and May, we saw top lines and bottom lines of businesses begin to be drastically affected. And in June and July, we have now started to see one of the worst economic indicators go over the waterfall, and that is bankruptcies. After months, businesses like restaurants, hotels, and travel companies are seeing their revenue being cut down by 70% of what it once was. Many of these companies run out of money and declare bankruptcy. We've seen back-to-back months in May and June where there are 50% more bankruptcies than normal. So who is going bankrupt? One of the largest franchises in the world, NPC International, who runs over 1,200 Pizza Huts and 400 Wendy's, has recently filed for bankruptcy, citing that they have become unable to make payments on their $1 billion worth of debt because of the loss of revenue from the lockdowns. Hertz, which is a car rental company that was once worth over $20 billion, recently filed for bankruptcy with $25 billion in assets. LATAM Airlines is another multi-billion-dollar company that has declared bankruptcy. There's a ton of brand name companies which have all filed for bankruptcy. Then there are hundreds of other giant companies and thousands of other slightly smaller ones that have also filed for bankruptcy. Further, there are many huge companies that are not out of money yet. The best example of this is oil companies. Most companies are laying off hundreds of employees. There is an oil consultancy firm that expects over 70 large international oil corporations to declare bankruptcy by the end of 2020, and they expect 150 more will go under by 2021. It is very likely that we will see a stock market crash in the near future because these trends will not only continue, they will most definitely intensify. The question is, what are you going to do? Please go into action now and make the choice between listening to your ego-mendacious mind and the external authorities or listening to your soul, the internal authority. I was blessed with time and created this new life outside of the totalitarian control system, and now I wish to be part of creative, self-sustainable, small communities. I do not have answers for what you need to do, but I wish to share in whatever way I can. Please contact me. My contact information is below. The coronavirus pandemic is a psychological force that's being used to enslave humanity completely at every possible level through technocracy. Will you choose not to participate or simply acquiesce to total slavery? There is no government solution. We must first remember who we are and then understand what we're doing here on Earth specifically right now. Please hit the like button, share this information, and join us in this adventure. Assistance with farmland purchases in Colombia and Ecuador. Spanish lessons. Long-term stay at a Colombian farm, 130 USD per week, 470 USD per month. Truth Consciousness workshop at Cascada Café Retiro in English, Spanish, and French. Dental treatment of high quality and migraine treatment with NTI dental appliance. Infinite